Well, power to the people.
Fuck you. The black community has been pretty excited over the announcement that the Little Mermaid is going to be played by a black woman in dreads. Halle Bailey, or Halle Berry, whatever you want to call it. This has spawned a response from people complaining that the Little Mermaid shouldn't be black, and obviously there are black people crying out in support of her casting. I don't like recapping, I'm not really interested in going any deeper than that. That's the general gist, that's all you need to know. On one hand, I'm very happy for Halle Bailey for, being on the big screen and getting to be a Disney legacy character. Anyone who watches this channel knows I care about representation, and I believe that it can make strong changes in the lives of black children. They're the future, they're the ones that matter. And on the other hand, I don't really care. I'm not gonna sit here and delude people into thinking I ever gave a damn about the Little Mermaid. I ain't gonna front. I know a lot of you niggas didn't either. I think we as a community can sometimes get so caught up in supporting each other that we'll really just support anything. Even if we don't care, and dare I say, even if it isn't good. And ultimately, that's a really unhealthy habit because it's exploitable. You can exploit that. I think this situation speaks to a bigger issue at hand. I don't really have much sympathy for white people who say the Little Mermaid can't or shouldn't be black. I question why we seek fidelity in white legacy characters in the first place. I talk about this in Operation Black Steel, but since it's now a topic, I'm going to speak on it. Black people, we have this tendency to just take a justified idea and push it to the logical extreme. We're pro-black, so we're anti-white. We believe in God, so we're homophobic. We want representation, so regardless of the form, it doesn't really matter. Now, these are just examples, and I'm not ignorant enough to say that speaks to the majority, but I feel we as people need to draw the line somewhere. And white people have whitewashed a lot of things for people of color. They've stolen our stories, our history, and our culture. And okay, here's the thing. I get this desire to take it all back, to rectify what's been done, but sometimes we really gotta think about it. I think fixating ourselves on black representation in adaptations of historically white stories somewhat sidesteps the importance of representation in the first place. Not only does it imply that we seek validation in white people, but it also implies that we don't have any interesting or original stories to tell of our own. Which is exactly what, historically, the white people eliminating your history wanted you to think. That's why they eliminated your culture, because they wanted you to believe that you had nothing to contribute, that you could really just bring nothing new to the table. I think there's a bunch of traditional African fairy tales and books, and some of which I even remember reading as a child. If you really want to represent, do those. Not only do they represent, but it forces these industries to hire minorities to do these stories justice. And I'm gonna be real, I'm way more interested in seeing an original story of a little black girl overcoming her fear of swimming than I am, seeing Little Mermaid performed in blackface. I'm not saying that's all it is, but again, I don't see the great significance in this. Black people on the big screen, and that's great. That's kind of been, happening for a while now. Not just because times are changing, but dare I say, because it's profitable. There's money to be made in slapping a black face on your production now, which is good, but I feel no sense of validation in making a white character black. One could argue that's even just a byproduct of white supremacy, convincing you that success is intrinsically tied to our ability to imitate white people. I'm seeing some people out here saying finally, finally what? There are good black stories to be told, and even the ones that are bad can be good. I don't believe that Miles Morales' comic books were even good, but they adapted them into the big screen, and now he's loved by thousands. You just have to have the vision for it. I don't think having a black Little Mermaid isn't progressive. I like Halle Bailey, I think she's cute, I like the look, and I think she'll do a great job. I guess I just question whether or not our priorities are in the right place. Instead of seeking validation in white people, maybe we should push for more original black stories instead. Written by black writers, directors, and filmmakers who can treat them with more sincerity. Based on fairy tales or otherwise, it really doesn't matter. What we need is more black stories, but for ourselves. In the same breath though, I completely get it. I understand the argument and I understand the perspective. I think the argument is ultimately that, the whole job interview thing. That you can be black and you have A's and the white guy can have B's and they'll pick the white guy. And that's wrong, and we all know that's wrong, but with acting, and to be specific, adaptations of established things, it's a bit more slippery. The idea isn't really to be for or against a black Little Mermaid. I ain't gonna lie, even saying it out loud, that's kind of just ridiculous. I think the encompassing narrative should be to push for more original black stories, for black people, by black people. I don't think this announcement should be widely celebrated or angrily defecated. Just a reminder of where to place our priorities. Congratulations to Halle Bailey, I hope you do an incredible job and inspire generations to come. This is a new series, so tell me what you think, tell me what can be improved. This goes without saying, but it's getting real hot, so stay hydrated. It's getting really hot. A lot of black people don't eat right, so fix up. Plug of the day is this little comic called Comixscape. I think I'm pronouncing that right, I'm not sure. I should clarify that none of these plugs will ever, have ever, or will ever be sponsored. These are just things that I enjoy that I feel like my viewers will enjoy too. Comixscape is about this little boy called Tyler and his raccoon friend. He goes on this cute little adventure in the woods where he meets a bunch of different characters, like this adorable little girl called Nia. What I like a lot about Comixscape is that it's really cute and fun. The art style is really bubbly and there's this real sense of innocence in the comic that I'm really fond of. Think stuff like Calvin and Hobbes and the Peanuts and maybe Adventure Time. And I should even add that, the Peanuts and Calvin and Hobbes were big inspiration for the Boondocks moving forward in terms of the comic strip and even, even the show, so take that for what you will. Again, I haven't been paid to speak about this and I honestly never will. The plugs in this series speak nothing but what I recommend and what I think you should support. If you like his stuff, show him some support. Give him a commission, do what you have to do. We pray that tomorrow will be better than today. Power to the people. Peace.